book is called Until Death Do You Part, An American Family Meets Their Sicilian Cousins. What could possibly go wrong? William Hovey Smith joins us. He's the author of the book. Thanks so much for coming on.
Well, you're quite welcome, ma'am.
So let's talk about the story of the family. The family is a third-generation Louisiana family of Sicilian origins. So what is that like? They take a vacation to their home island, and tell us about the story. What happens?
Well, we have an engineer who works in Baton Rouge, and he has two sons. One's a Marine captain home on leave, and the other is a ne'er-do-well artist who gets thrown out of his girlfriend's apartment in San Francisco because he can't pay the rent. So they both all arrive at home in Baton Rouge, and Dad decides that, well, it's time for the family to make a trip to their home island, to Sicily, and see what that's all about. So he, his wife, their sister, and their uncle go to Sicily. And when they arrive on Monday, they are informed that their two sons will be married to two women they've never even heard of on Friday, or none will leave the island alive.
Wow. So that's interesting. That had to be obviously very disarming to the family. And you talk about it. I mean, obviously there's some old mafia generations here, right? There's some complexities that arise. Am I right?
There are many complexities, including in the mafia family. What happens is that the primary Don and his segundo have been arrested. And so another member of the family, an old enforcer called Luigi the Claw, because he lost a hand during World War II, is now back running the family. And he has a daughter and he has a niece. And he fears this is going to start another mafia war. And these are serious things. There were 30,000 killed during the 1990s, caused directly by mafia conflicts. And so he desperately wants to get his wards out of the country. And having these two unmarried American guys suddenly appear on his doorstep is an opportunity that he just can't resist. So this is going to show that the family is strong. They plan a very elaborate wedding. They tour the island, and another mafia family in Naples tries to kill anyone they can get their hands on. And they also attract the attention of the FBI and the Italian Anti-Mafia Association.
How did you come up with this story? Because, you know, if you look at your background, you have such an interesting background of traveling around, but as a combat engineer officer, you think of exploration, geologist. Wow, I love geology. So how did you come up with this first novel of yours?
Well, I happened, as a writer, as an outdoor writer, I happened to stay briefly with an Italian, with a Sicilian family in Louisiana. And I'd never heard of any Sicilians being in Louisiana, but it turns out they were the cheapest labor force in the world after the Civil War, and they came to work the sugarcane plantations as the cheapest labor in the world at the time. And they stayed. And the family actually did make a trip to Sicily, and they did discover that they had some unexpected connections over there. And then a quite different family in Mississippi happened to have two sons that were having marital difficulties of various sorts. And these were both good-looking guys. And so I just put them together and sent them to Sicily, and then had to think of a plot to sort of juice up the things a little bit, and did. And we brought in some extra characters, like an Irish priest and a couple of gay strippers and some nuns who go around with their breasts exposed, and other people to add some flavor to the novel.
So what do you hope people take away from reading your novel? That they escape, that they are entertained by these crazy characters? What do you hope?
Well, what I hope to show is something of the settings and the life in various parts of the country, both here in the U.S., through the American Southwest, which I've spent decades in, as well as in Sicily, and show something of the culture passing through, and also to explain why the Mafia has such a powerful hold on Sicily today, how it arose, and something of what its culture is. And that is what I want people to take away. Incidentally, they'll also take a tour of the island. They'll see some of the famous sights. They will eat the foods. They'll drink the wine. And we describe many of these situations in considerable detail.
Yeah. Well, you feel like you're just in Sicily. Well, it would be remiss of me not to mention this. I mean, if people look you up, William Hovey Smith, they look you up, they might know you from all your outdoor experiences. You had a podcast, Hovey's Outdoor Adventures, and you produced like 800 some YouTube videos, right, on outdoor health, business, all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, it's approaching 900 now.
Wow.
But yeah, so if they Google my name, Hovey, H-O-V-E-Y, Smith, and video, they'll start cropping up. And I also have blogs and, as I say, the radio show as well. So, yeah, I've been active in a lot of things.
Interesting. This book is interesting. Until Death Do You Part, an American family meets their Sicilian cousins. You can get it audio form, paperback, Kindle, on Amazon. Hovey, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, you're quite welcome.